make the strings.
Fire? Uh-oh, guys. It's that time. Wow. So we got this beautiful harness in today. And yeah, so last night we were messing with the interior, got all that stuff out. But so we didn't put any of the dash or anything back in because we figured we'll go ahead and stuff it through the grommets right here, get it all plugged into the engine. But it always seems like as soon as we get like dope parts or as soon as I'm getting ready to do something, I gotta run. So David is gonna go ahead and get this installed on the engine.
He's got it on. Oh man, oh.
David, jeez. So anyhow, you can see this harness is real nice. Has all this nice sheathing on it. This is where that's where the speedo and everything plug in. But all this stuff, so like the igniter will be actually inside the car, which will be really nice. This is the integration harness that plugs basically into the factory thing. So we should essentially be able to turn the key. And then I think this is that stuff that we're gonna have to extend and go to the back with.
Why? All we should have to do is go to power in the back, right?
Yeah. I mean, we could technically just hook it up to the battery and probably start it, just lay it in there, yeah, and then just see if we could get it to crank. But don't. You know
what you should have done?
We should go drain.
Told them to make these extra long.
We should go drain the E85 in the tank. It's nice because you could disconnect it right there though and extend it. So I don't know. I'm gonna go do that. David's gonna stay here. He's gonna make a movie, a little bit of a movie. So yeah. All right. So David's been here messing with the harness. Got all ran through that grommet going on the inside, and then over here we tried putting it like on the upper side of it, but I think like some of the stuff wasn't reaching quite right. So we're just gonna stick it underneath, and it'll tuck all this stuff away. And so basically all you'll see is like the little injector wires and stuff coming up. So it'll be a real clean install. But yeah, while he's messing with that, I'm gonna come over here and finish installing the turbo drain lines. We have the feed line on there, but officially like tighten like the compressor housing and everything down now that we're actually have the intercooler piping and everything done. Get that all officially mounted so that hopefully we could maybe fire this thing up tonight. Alright, so we got this thing all rolled back, messing with the wiring harness on the inside. So this is that really long wiring harness. So this is basically the grommet that goes right here. There's a big giant hole, if you can see that, but that goes in there, so we're gonna have to weld that up. But anyhow, this is the wiring harness. This goes up under the front radiator support. That goes over there where by the turbo. And at the beginning of this this build or whatever, we were initially gonna try and save it. But I mean, then we just have like this big old chunk of wiring right here, and that wouldn't be very pretty. So, so we decided to, since this is going to be a street car, we want to keep like all the factory stuff. We don't want to make like a chassis harness. But so basically, there's so much extra wiring that we'll easily be able to just go in the trunk. So we're just going to run the wires, just plug it in up here, hook up the ignition switch and everything, run it to the back, extend a couple of the wires from the wiring specialties harness. The wiring specialties harness has it's like a factory integration harness. So you can see we have kind of the ECU plugged in right here, the igniter, and then right here, that's this big plug. And off of that, it goes directly into the factory S14 deal. So this is where it'll get like it's like signals and stuff from the ignition switch. And then from that, it branches off into these two things, but for the most part, this is the only thing that connects to the actual fuse box. And that just goes into these, basically these two plugs right there. So we'll just extend these plugs a little bit. It's only a couple wires, so we'll extend that. And then the only other real thing that we need to run up front, since the engine is kind of on its own standalone thing, is just the radiator fan wiring, the headlights, blinkers, and running lights. And yeah, that's pretty much it. The the wiring specialties harness also comes with a plug, or it comes with the wiring for the windshield wiper motor. But yeah, David got this all tucked up underneath the intake manifold, all nice and pretty. So all you could really see up here is just the top of like the injector connectors and little random wiring popping in and out. But yes, that looks really good. We ran the O2 sensor wire to the back over there. This is the mass airflow sensor connector, stock coolant temp gauge, and then this connects to the, you're supposed to put like a 240sx coolant temp gauge in here so that it will actually read off of the factory coolant temp gauge, because that's what it's calibrated to. What else? So we have the Dakota Digital boxes, which there's this little plug right here. It comes just kind of looped, but basically we just plug right into that with this, and then we should have speed signal and tach signal, and then we should, everything on the factory gauge cluster, you know, the coolant, fuel, tach, and speedo should all work just like OEM, which would be pretty cool because that's exactly what I wanted out of this swap. But yeah, so now I think we're gonna go ahead. I don't know, we wanted to kind of just get it to crank over real quick and see if we could get it fired. I'm putting an ignition switch back in it, getting ready to wire that. And David was messing with this harness, kind of looking to see what we need to do to it. So, alright guys, so I'm just gonna say it's been a while. Look at this. I'm filming, and I have both my hands. So it's a head cam video. I lost my damn head cam thing, and that's why you guys weren't getting no point of view working on shit. But so now my videos are gonna get longer. And they might be getting better, so because if instead of like random rambling, I could random and not doing anything, I'll actually be able to ramble and do something. Right, Dave?
Maybe. I don't think that's the point of view videos they want, though.
I don't know if they want those other ones either, but anyhow, on so what I was getting ready to explain is on these 2J VVTIs, they're kind of weird with the power steering. So it has this really weird. So it's got this really big banjo bolt on it, and this is the drift motion, and it goes, the line I got from drift motion, it goes right in there, and it has nice threads and stuff, and it just goes right in there nice and pretty. But basically there's this factory, like, I don't know, it's like a pressure reducing valve. So when I got my S14 in my drift car going for the first time, I was like, why is my power steering all weird? And it's definitely a weird, because it has like O-ring, 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 and then in here, so you can't see any like orifices or holes. And so what I did with this one is the one actually out of my drift car, is I gutted it. But this one I kind of bit on it with some things, and it looked a little bit ugly, and this one's a little bit prettier. So I'm gonna show you guys how I did that and how I got that out of there, and hopefully, so if you throw your JZ in a 240 or something, and it doesn't have like this wiring harness going to it. So basically this wiring harness, I believe, is kind of like that speed-based like power steering. So like when you're on the highway, it makes it like firmer, but when you're in a parking lot, it makes it really soft. And so I'm assuming that's what that is. So this is a little 10 millimeter. I'm just going to kind of show you how I gutted this other one the other night. I just pulled this out. See that? And it's got like, I don't know how it does it. If it's like regulated, or I don't know, it's stupid. So I don't even know if it works, because I basically just robbed one off of a 1J last time. But yeah, so there's like this other little valve in there, little diaphragm, and just yank it out. Hopefully that's it. Maybe the other way. Yeah, probably that way. All right. And then it's a big O. This is like 1.25 inches. Yes. So yeah, now we have a good high pressure power steering line, but now I need to figure out the low side of it and hook up the actual reservoir. Okay, so what do you think of this this harness? Looks like a lot of fun. So basically what David is doing is pulling out all of the stuff. So this is the stuff going for like the passenger headlights. I think this is the high beam right here, and then this is turn signal light, and then the ground and stuff. But basically he's just pulling that all through the harness, and then we'll rewrap it. We needed to pull all of like a lot of this stuff off of it anyhow, because it had like these like plastic brackets and stuff kind of bending it in certain spots. But I have new wire loom, so we'll rewrap it and rewire loom it before we actually put it back like in the trunk or whatever. But yeah, so David's just, what are you taking apart?
This plug.
Why?
So I can pull it.
So yeah, David's taking apart the headlight plug so we could yank it all the way to the back, or actually yank it from the back up to the front again. So, and then we'll run basically just a really simple wiring harness just up to the front and then over to this side. Or are we gonna do it on each side?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's gonna be a real pain in the butt.
Not really.
Maybe. All right, guys, so it is it's day 3 now, working on this thing. So we just ran up, one of my buddies, he just bought a S14 shell, and he's gonna cage it and replace his S14 because his was rusty and some other stuff. So anyhow, he bought this, and I was actually gonna buy the car, and then I didn't want to deal with like having another S14 shell, which I probably should have, because it would have been nice to have a couple more of the stuff from under David. But anyhow, so we got some other carpet. As you guys know, the other carpet that we had has like a random hole right here, and I'm not gonna do that to one of you guys. So I wanted to, I was if I couldn't find any other carpet, but I found this, so I'm gonna go ahead and pressure wash this. This is kind of a different color. It's like a greenish blue-ish, something like that. But I'm gonna show you guys how we're gonna actually paint it or dye it, so it's actually like black or gray or something along those lines. But as you can see, this one's a little bit dirtier than that other one was. But I'm gonna show you how the whole pressure washing trick works. But to start off with, I'm gonna go ahead and vacuum all the random grit and stuff off of this. Then I'm gonna spray it with some degreaser and then pressure wash it. David is messing with the harness again. So basically these two plugs were that.
Mm-hmm.
So these two plugs, I'm not sure exactly what, I think like...
This is all coolant temp, I think. And
I don't know, I think that's stuff going to the gauge, and then this is like starter signal things and stuff. But so what David's been doing is not actually like cutting and extending the wires, is he's just been pulling them back through the harness because we de-loomed it. And so we'll basically pull the wires back, put them where they need to go, extend them if we need to, and then rewrap the harness, run it to the trunk. But I'm gonna go ahead and get started on pressure washing this stuff. Alright, so David just got this whole little harness pulled. You can see this is basically all the wires you pulled out. And where does all this go to, David?
It goes to like all the gauge cluster and the starting relay and all that stuff that...
So this is a starter relay?
Yeah, so...
And we're just basically going to run this over to the other side.
That's where the...
Because that's where all the stuff, that's where the patch harness and everything is anyhow.
Instead
and then
of extending that.
So this whole harness, like right here, this whole thing of stuff, or most of it at least, is going to go to the back. He has like this stuff right here tied off. This is going to be like the headlight and wiring and stuff. So I think he's going to finish messing with that and then probably stuff all that wiring back in the box. So it's kind of nice in there in the back. And then I'm getting ready to pressure wash the carpet again. I kind of did the whole snow foam degrease thing, and now I'm just kind of letting it drip for a little bit, then we'll pressure wash it, and then pressure wash both sides of it. Alright guys, so I've been up here. I connected the power steering reservoir, the line going to the reservoir, and the line going up front to the power steering cooler down there. And while I've been doing that, David got this thing all stuffed. And so I'm pretty pumped to show you guys this. Check that out. Got the fuse box just hanging out right there. We basically wrapped it in some of this stuff. Some pretty big wire loom right there. But basically, we were gonna kind of run it up around here, but that kind of puts us in a weird thing. And I was looking at it, I looked in that hole right there, and I was like, oh wow. If you guys are wondering what those welds are, it's because the quarter panel's been cut to deal with the like the wide body and stuff, so that the tire could actually go up in the fender. But yeah, so you can see, got this nice wire loom right there, and we'll kind of figure out how to get it right through here. But yeah, it's pretty nice. Definitely like that. Got a little ground we need to connect to something. But yeah, all that stuff still running good up there. And now we have a completely deleted wire harness, and David pulled out this whole section, which is pretty cool, and then that just plugs into the wiring specialties harness. And yeah, David, do you think we could turn the key?
Maybe. I mean, we have to.
Well, we need to. So we need to give this fuse box power, and then we also need to give the starter power. And I think that's it.
You give the starter relay power.
Doesn't it get power from back here?
No, the fuse is up there now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so we need to give a couple things power.
Grounds.
I think, yeah, and we need to ground the block. So I also got this. Where is it? This thing from Wiring Specialties. This is their like 5-point grounding kit, which I'll probably add like a bigger one to the block, but we'll add this up top somewhere. All right, guys. I don't know if I'm ready for this or if you're ready for this. We got it grounded kind of with a ghetto ground real quick. This is just for you guys, well, and for me too. I wanted to see this thing fire up. But so anyhow, I guess let's. So we got the power going over to the fuse box over here. We have this. This is a ground. We are gonna redo this whole battery setup, but this is kind of just to get her going to see what if she'll run. She should. Got the turbo and everything, all the cool turbo lines and everything hooked up. Alright, so that's connected. So that stuff should have power. I have so it's in neutral. What? Ooh, she cranks. Ooh, the throttle body. Can you hear it? Ooh. Alright, need to hook up the fuel. So like I said, this is kind of a ghetto little setup we got going on right here. Start it? Oh, because it has vacuum. It has a lot of vacuum. Well, because there's... That could be why it's so mad, is because there's so many vacuum deals just right in the way. Like, so it's like this is a big old vacuum port, that's a big old vacuum port, there's a big old vacuum port. So let's maybe tie those together. It sounds like crap.
Yeah.
Normally they run pretty good.
T85 though. Should that be it?
What?
T85?
I mean, it could. Is the O2 sensor plugged in?
Yeah. We can spray some starting fluid in it. We can spray some starting fluid in it.
Yeah. Fire?
What?
Yeah, there's a bit of, I guess, E85 on the ground, huh?
It's burning the pipe. Holy shit.
Yeah, don't blow it down. Do not blow it down.
Well, fucking grab this pipe then. This is fucking hot, bud.
Do not let it touch the ground. Fire extinguisher, yes or no?
Maybe just get some water. It'll burn it out. It's on my hand. There's like a lot of fucking stuff. Yeah, there you go. Just give her. Hold on. Maybe get something more than that. Let's fucking get it hot.
Fire extinguisher?
Oh, hold on. Oh, I got it. Fuck off, bitch. So, must be out of time?
Yeah. That was a lot of starting fluid.
I don't know where it all came from. It fucking like must have fucking shot it back up.
We almost caught the giveaway car on fire. As funny as, I mean, that's not really funny because that would have really sucked. I don't know. We're debating whether to use a fire extinguisher or not because we thought it was kind of going out, and yeah, that was kind of sketchy. So I think David just sprayed a little bit too much starting fluid in it, and it backfired through the intake manifold, and then basically just caught that on, and then there was a little pool of starting fluid in there, and it didn't like that. So definitely a little sketchy, but I don't know. We're trying to see right now to see if it's actually in timing, or it kind of sounds like it's running a little finicky, maybe a little off. So we're just kind of trying to diagnose the issues. So I'm probably gonna make sure that power's getting to everything, like the injectors and, you know, all the random plugs that it needs to. And David's gonna check the timing. We'll get back to you. Also, I have not started this car on this ECU. So when I first got this engine set or whatever, they didn't send the ECU. So I basically just, if you want to see that video, this is the engine that was actually supposed to go in the Supra. So I basically just sat the engine next to my drift car, pulled the harness over since my engine bay fuse box or engine bay ECU box, and plugged basically this harness off of this motor into my car with all my power and everything, and got it started on the ground. So it ran good on the ground. Compression test and everything was good with it then. So yeah, now basically what we just need to rule out is that ECU and make sure everything's getting power, and also that it's in timing because we did take the whole front end of it apart, you know, to do all the seals and stuff. So. Alright guys, so it is like 5 in the morning. We've been messing with this thing for a little while. Probably like another hour and a half or 2 hours since I last kind of gave you a little update. But I don't know. Not exactly sure what is going on with it. Need to kind of double check a few things on it and just kind of see. So we sprayed ether in it and it didn't run smooth. So I mean, it either has to be like a timing issue, because we initially were thinking like fuel, maybe coil packs, bad coil pack, maybe bad spark plugs or something simple and stupid like that. I mean, we checked all the grounds, we checked the power, we checked, I mean, all the random little things that we can do after like a full night of being tired and working on it. But yeah, so I don't know. It's time to go to bed. We'll be back here tomorrow and hopefully mess with this little thing a little bit more. See if we can't get her fired up and running smooth. I don't know. It's I wish we had like where we could plug in the scanner to it and it would tell us exactly what it was doing, but we can't do that. But again, I appreciate you guys watching. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think it could be. I hope you guys are stoked about the wiring tuck going to the back. I mean, it could be something with that. I mean, something could just not be getting power because the wiring specialties harness gets all the power from the stock harness. And I mean, we did kind of mess with all that stuff, but I mean, whatever we figured out, it should be good. Everything on the harness was labeled. We have everything plugged in how it should be. But I don't know. We haven't even checked the spark plugs yet, and I don't know. I mean, I was gonna say because it still has a little bit of the E85 in the tank, but it should still idle and it should run smooth on the starting fluid. So I don't know. It could be random things. Dave doesn't know. I don't know. We've checked it, but I mean we're pulling our hair out over here trying to figure it out. But again, appreciate you guys watching. I'm glad we didn't burn this thing down, and be sure to head over to motionauto.tv.com. Get yourself some Motion Auto TV swag and earn yourself some entries to earn this thing. By the time it'll be running smooth, it'll be ready to go. I mean, no matter what, we'll figure it out. But motionautotv.com.
But let me see you work this beautiful mind. If it's right, the stars align. Nothing can keep you from feeling mine.